All right, we're back in Lake Tahoe, and we're finally wrapping up this trip. We went to help Lisa Vanderpump open Wolf, and now Sheena is all over page 6 for taking photos with Sandoval after having to do therapy with Sandoval. And Lala again thinks that Sandoval is terrifying. We're gonna get into it. I hope you're ready. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Welcome on in, everybody. I hope you're ready for an all-new Vanderpump Rules week recap. It is Wednesday, and we recap Vanderpump every week here for you. We're on episode 6, season 11, and it is only getting spicier. We finally have some beef between Lala and Sandoval, and here to help me get into it all. He's here every Wednesday. He's just not here physically, but please welcome back, the one and only Josh from Louisiana.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my home.
Thank you, Vivian. I know. I try. Okay, so we have this new episode back in Tahoe. We see things open up with Sandoval wanting to host this, but Sandoval wants to host this meditation that they're all getting ready for, right? The morning picks up, and we see Lala having a conversation with Sheena, and Sheena's talking about how she is a bit conflicted because Sandoval's been really good to her. He's been a really good friend to her. And even during the pandemic, when she was struggling financially, he PayPal'd her some money when she really needed it.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, when she said that, I immediately thought, how could she not feel a certain type of way about this entire situation? Not saying that she's giving him any excuses for what he did, but that was a person that was there for her when she was having a really hard time. And
Yeah.
so for her to feel as affected as she is with this whole thing going down, I feel is totally justified. I think she has every right to feel very sad because that is someone who took care of her when she was probably at her lowest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the pandemic was not easy to get through. A lot of us struggled that year. A lot of us listen, I'm still paying off debt from that year, trying to stay alive. And when you have those lifeboats, you don't forget those types of things, especially when you go through something like that pandemic year where like
Yeah.
everyone's jobs were up in the air, And so I feel like she's not going to forget that because those are times when you need the people that you care about or the people that care about you. That's when you need them to show up for you. And the fact that he
Yeah.
was able to do that says a lot. But also my
Yeah.
issue with it is Katie went on the after show and was talking about how, and so did Ariana, them together were saying that Sandoval only did that because it was self-serving. He wanted to feel good about himself, and that's why he decided to give Sheena money because that's what he does. He's a narcissist and he's manipulative, and he only did that to buy Sheena's, loyalty.
Okay, but the scandal hadn't happened at the pandemic, and what was the self-serving purpose for it then? Why did he do it then? What did Sheena have to do to, like, not atone? What's the word that I'm looking for? But what did she have to do to prove her loyalty or whatever?
No,
I
I
just
listen, I get it. I don't agree with Katie. I think she just doesn't like Sandoval. And Ariana obviously is also blinded in her own, pain from what just happened with Sandoval, that I think they are looking for any little thing that Sandoval does to show that he can't do anything right, you know? And I
yeah.
don't think that what he did was self-serving. Well, I kind of talked about this together today on the podcast about how, like, listen, anytime you do an act of good deed, it does stroke your ego. It does make you feel good about doing something good for somebody else. That's natural. You see a homeless person, you give them $5, you feel like, oh, I did something good today. That's why people go to church. They want to feel good about themselves. And they're like, I love Jesus. I'm going to go to church. That way I can, feel good about sucking 3 dicks later.
Oh
It's
my
just,
god. Yes, I do agree that when you do an act of kindness, yes, it does. It makes you feel good about yourself. You feel like you did something selfless. But one thing that I want to know, did Sandoval ever say that he loaned
No.
Sheena that money?
That's the thing. That's
No.
the thing, and I made
So
this exact same point today too. I was like, "He's never talked about this, nor has he ever, because this was pre-Scandival. Then when Scandival came and Sheena, turned her back on him, so to speak, because of her loyalty to Ariana, never once did he come back to throw that in her face. He did that and
yeah,
left it there in the past. Nobody had ever heard about it. Nobody had ever talked about it until Sheena decided to bring it up now. He never once came to her and was like, "After everything that I did for you, I gave you money when you were broke, you dumb bitch." He never did
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I mean, I am, and I see Mtronic said he hasn't talked about it yet. He very well could talk about it, and then that will completely change,
But that
my
was
view on this situation.
no,
But
that was 4 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
4 years ago when he's had opportunities to bring it up. And when the scandal first broke and when he's fighting with Sheena in the back alley at Sir, that's a great opportunity to weaponize that. We've never seen him weaponize that ever. Not even when he
yeah.
paid for James and Raquel's engagement party. He's never used that to throw it back in their face, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, and listen, I am by no means Team Sandoval. I'm just
Mm-mm.
saying that I understand Sheena's
Point of
position
view.
in this entire
Yep.
thing. Like people always give Sheena shit for like crying and everything like that. She's an emotional person. God love her. But especially with this, I give her all the grace.
Oh, 1,000 the people need to leave Sheena alone. Okay, we'll get into that because that comes
Yeah,
up later in the episode. But I understand her struggle of being like, this was a friend. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you had a friend that you've known for many years that fucked up to this degree and hurt you, that friendship and those feelings for that person don't just go away.
right.
You know,
Yep.
there is a grieving process that you have to go through. And the difference between the grieving of a death and the grieving of a loss is a death is done. It's final. It's finite. Or it's cut and dry. But
Yep.
when there's a loss in your life and it's like a friendship or someone like Sandoval, like this person isn't just cut out of Sheena's life. She has to see him. She has to work with him. She has to, be around him. And those feelings will continue to come up for her, as we see in the group therapy session. So he brings out this healer. They do a group meditation. Sheena ends up getting paired with Sandoval, which she's very uncomfortable with. And then Brock decides to go and team up with James and Allie. What did you think of that?
Oh, at first I was so pissed because she was like, "Can you come be part of our 3?" And he was like, "No, I'm part of this 3 over here." And I was like, "Man, that is your wife. How are you gonna just abandon her knowing how she feels?" But then when, we get to them in the kitchen and Brock goes and checks on her and everything because she has that, little mini breakdown, he says the exercise is to try to get us to work through it, and I know that you have the most that you need to work through with him. And I thought it was best done with just you two together. So when he said that, it was like, okay, total redemption. I understand where he was coming from. Although in that moment, I would have been Sheena, 100%.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would not have been happy in that moment.
No, ma'am, not at all.
And I just feel like he did show up for Sheena this episode, though. He defended her. He
Mhm.
went against Sandoval, for Sheena.
Yeah,
Like he, showed up in the ways that he should have shown up.
yeah,
And I'm glad that he did give her that opportunity to work through some stuff with Sandoval. And listen,
yeah,
that's what you want your partner to do is to be like, listen, this is somebody that that was an important part of your life and you need to sort your shit out. Maybe you cut them out of your life completely or not, but you at least need to face this head
right.
on. And this is what's best for you and your healing. And he's pushing her to actually face that conflict.
Yeah. And you know what? I just got to say that that is the kind of partner that I would want. They're not there to just make you comfortable all the time. They're there to help you in the ways that sometimes you don't want to help yourself.
Yeah.
So, look, listen, maybe we got a new number one guy in the group.
I mean, listen, he's back. Last season, he wasn't really around because they didn't want to
Yeah.
pay him. And now he's like, I'm back for my paycheck.
Good for him.
Amy says, I understand how Sheena felt alone, but her husband is really supportive. Yeah, he really
Yeah,
is.
completely agree.
Adam says, I'm so over Sheena making everything about herself all the time. But here's the thing, she has the right to make this about herself.
I mean,
She went through
this is
this too.
very yeah, this is, she's like a key component to this whole thing. So I completely understand. And I think we need to understand her feelings.
Yeah, Mtronic says, I think Sheena's annoying as fuck. I only like her because her family is cute. I disagree.
I mean, listen, sometimes we can be annoyed by people or whatever, but at the
Usually,
same
when
time,
we're annoyed by people, it's because we're triggered by them because there's a part of ourselves that is being brought to the surface as a result of them.
well, anyways, I'm never annoyed by her. I actually really love Sheena. Um, but like I was saying, you can be annoyed by somebody, but still understand kind of the position that they're in and where they're coming from. I
And I
just
think,
realized I'm kind of blending in with my chair.
yeah, you are.
I think I saw a few people say it looked like I'm wearing a fur coat. Nope, it's just a chair. Sutton actually gave me this.
Um, but so we wrap up the group therapy, which I think was helpful. And, I think it was helpful for all of them. I think Lala and Schwartz had a bit of a moment, whereas we've seen them kind of, struggle in the
Yeah.
past. We've seen Sheena and Sandoval, the ice is slowly starting to melt a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, Mtronic said, I'm not triggered by Sheena. She's just flip floppy and so wannabe. Again, if you have this strong of a reaction to her, that is a trigger. I know you don't want to hear that. I know people don't like that, but that's the mirror that you're being faced with when you have to deal with your shit. And there's some shit you got to deal with. Um,
Oh, in case y'all didn't know, we are in session with therapist Zach Peter.
Listen, it is what it is, and that is the reality of it. We are being triggered every day, and usually when we see other people that trigger us, there's something within ourselves that needs a little attention or working on. But when
Okay,
it
Zach,
comes
we
to
get the point. Let's move on.
I'm just trying to hammer it in. Um, but when it comes to Sheena, I just feel like I know people want to call her a flip flopper, but I don't think she's a flip flopper. I think she is a very empathetic person, and I think she likes to look at both sides of things. And I think, she is very much somebody that allows her heart to guide her in the moment, you know? Mtronic said, I'm triggered by Sandoval because I have narc parents and I know the
Narcissistic.
games.
I
She
think
said narc.
I think she meant narcissistic.
She said narc.
I don't think that's what she meant. Could you please clarify that for us, Mtronics?
See, Aaron D says she loves Sheena. Just me, Carrie. Sheena is a rare soul. So listen, I think those people often get the most heat because they try very hard to just, you know, appease everybody and be everybody's friend, and that can become challenging sometimes. Yes, narc is short for narcissistic. No, it's not. Narc is a very define. Google what a narc is.
A narc is. I'm sure that there can be two uses of that collection of letters.
Brittany says, I used to love Sheena, but Stassi was always right about her never standing her ground, and it bites her in the ass. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, she very much sways, but again, I think it just comes from her having a big heart and just wanting to, be good with everybody and hear everybody out.
Mhm.
Sheena's always been the bridge that when somebody's been outcasted, Sheena's always been the one to help loop them back into the group. And you do need that type of person on a reality show and an ensemble show, especially like this.
Yeah,
And Sheena,
yeah. I mean,
Sheena,
I can relate. I don't see. I am not scared of drama. I don't like drama, but I try to smooth things over as much as I possibly can. I shut up, Zach. I see that look.
I just think you like to you add more gasoline sometimes than I think you realize. And then
Give
you
me an
avoid
instance.
and then you would like to avoid the conflict until you have to face the conflict.
Give me an example.
We're not gonna go there right now.
We'll talk offline.
We just had a conversation about this, what, last weekend?
No. That was addressed head on. Thank you.
No, it was not
Next.
addressed head on because the situation was not brought head on. The situation was brought through,
And I
other.
explained that entire situation to you, and it was cleared up,
Mm,
wasn't it?
but it could have been addressed head on had you just been upfront about it head on.
It wasn't not being upfront about it. It was just not thinking about it.
Hmm.
I
No, I
just
think
live my life. I can't help it if it's not according to everybody else's plan.
it's not about being according to everybody else's plan, Joshua. It's sometimes thinking things through and knowing
Yeah, I
when
don't
to.
always do that.
No, you don't always do that, and that gets you into trouble.
Yeah, that is what would make
I'm
me a great part of a reality show is the fact that I don't think things through. And yes, sometimes it does kind of
bite you in the
a
ass,
little true.
yes. And then you deal with somebody like me that's very much a Lala, and when I react, I have very strong reactions.
I don't have very weak reactions. Let's just say that.
Oh, I know. We've shown people our reaction. We've given people a show before.
I don't think that they're here to hear us talk about our beef. We need to get back to the episode.
Okay, Sheena had a really hard time in group therapy. Then we get to them on the lift, and Brock is accusing Sandoval of leaking this story
Yes.
that Brock and Raquel had a thing, and he says that this came from
Tom's team.
Tom's team. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And I will say that, I mean, I have met people just living here that will do things without their client or boss or customer's consent because they're just like, well, we're going to take care of it, and the client doesn't know about it. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Again, I'm not Team Sandoval. I'm just giving that situation the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Amy took my side in our beef. Thank you, Amy. Just, anytime I get validation, I have to.
Oh my god.
But here's what I will say about the Sandoval Brock rumor, whatever. I think I know exactly who leaked this to the press. And I have my own stories with that particular person. I think I know exactly how that story got out there. And I
Who is
think that
it?
Brock is telling the truth.
Who is it?
I'm not gonna say that on
Oh, can you
air.
text it to me?
Yes, I will tell you afterwards. But so I think that this person did do this unbeknownst to Sandoval. It was kind of like an under the carpet, backdoor deal.
Yes. Yeah, that right, that's basically what I was just saying. Like,
Yes, I agree. I don't
Sandoval
think Sandoval
didn't.
knew, and that's
Yeah.
why listen, and with Sandoval, when you're the client, ignorance is bliss, right? And
Yes.
if you don't know, then there's no trouble there. And you really believe that your team wouldn't actually do that.
Yeah, right.
But I'm glad that Brock stood up to him about that, and he's just like, "Nope, you're not as innocent as you wanna claim. Your team did this. Like, let's not,
Yeah.
try to act like you're, a good
Well,
that good of a guy."
listen, the end of the day, he's still not taking accountability for what he did. So, if he does find out that his team did this, he's not gonna take accountability for that either.
No. He'd be like, "I didn't know. How was I supposed to know? I didn't tell him to do that."
Yep.
Which is the point that Brock was trying to make. He's like, "There's 10% of accountability and 90% of blame for everybody else."
Yes. Yep.
Lisa says Brock is great for Sheena. I
I
agree.
think
I think
yeah.
he's actually very good for Sheena.
I absolutely agree with that because especially with how Sheena what she's going through right now with and I'm not talking about just the Sandoval thing. I'm talking about like everything with Summer Moon and everything and her inability to release control and her OCD and all that stuff. He has been a very solid man.
Yeah. Maybe Tom isn't sorry for what he did to Ariana, but he's apologized enough.
Has he apologized though? Have we actually heard him say I'm sorry?
Listen, he has said I'm sorry. He said the words I'm sorry, but there's always a contingency to it, right? There's always like a yes, I did this, but Ariana, like we weren't in a happy relationship, like we weren't even
Yes.
having sex.
Yes.
Like you would wear a shirt during sex, like God, so hot.
That
Like you
was
would
the fucking
do
worst.
yes. So there's always something else to it, right? There's never just a clear apology.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. There's always I'm sorry, but like he has to give an
There
excuse
has to
for
be
why he acted like an asshole.
some sort of justification, excuse, reasoning that somebody else's fault. I only did this because, like, that's where we're at. We're in a loveless relationship. And it's just like, no, sorry, we are not going to get a pass this time. You need to just own it. And listen, this is the point where you need to grovel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and keep in mind, this is only 4 months post Scandival. So you still have some groveling to do at this point.
Yeah, it's going to take a minute for you to grovel. And if you want to re
Yeah.
earn and rebuild these friendships, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Brittany says, wait, you guys think Brock is good for her, yelling at her in the middle of a store on camera, all over Sheena having anxiety about being a mom? Listen, that was a very natural argument or disagreement that they were having as two parents trying to just figure things out, right? I think he's been very understanding of Sheena's anxiety and OCD. I think
Mhm.
he's tried his best, but like he's also human and he's going to get
Yeah.
frustrated with her sometimes. And, you know, I don't think that that was a bad people have arguments. I don't think he was yelling at her
Yeah.
any more or less than she was yelling at him. They had a
Right.
disagreement. It just happened to happen at a store.
Right. I think that their voices were slightly raised. I don't think it was necessarily yelling though. I
Yeah,
mean, it was just
and I
like
think
it was like a frustrated conversation on
yes,
both their parts.
we've had many of those. So I think for me, when I see this in somebody else, I'm like, "Oh, that's actually pretty tame."
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh and I have had, like, screaming matches.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, I think about it sometimes, I'm like, "The neighbors are probably worried. They're probably gonna call, you know, call somebody to come and save me." No, I'm usually the aggressor. Um,
Yeah, they probably just think that you have some poor Southern man hostage in your apartment.
Mallory says, "I thought." Yeah, they just hear your accent and they're like, "What is happening?" I thought that was nice of him. It wasn't a shit apology either. I mean, Sandoval's apology. I mean, a Sandoval apology. Yeah, I do think that he's good for her.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, Sheena wears the pants in that family. I wouldn't say Sheena wears the pants in that family, but I think Brock allows her to take the lead on certain things for
Yeah.
sure. Lisa says everyone screws up, so he was a dumbass in the store. He isn't yelling at her 24/7. Yeah, I agree. It was and he said sorry. Yeah, he acknowledged that and apologized for it. We
Mhm.
don't see him constantly yelling at her all the time.
Yeah. Oh, and also, yeah, I agree with this one. The store was empty, probably closed for filming. Yes, more than likely. So maybe Brock didn't think they were in public. That's a valid point. I know sometimes they do sometimes shut down spaces to
They
film.
usually do, yeah.
Yeah.
For something like this in a small store like that, they
Yeah.
usually do. But then so we get to the boat and we see Sheena and she's calling Ariana and Katie's there, which I could have done without any of Katie and Ariana's scenes this episode. They didn't really bring much.
Ooh.
Hot take,
Savage.
yeah. But so Sheena calls Ariana to talk about how she's struggling. She's like being open with her and being vulnerable. Listen, and that's part of a friendship, right? You lean on me, I lean on you. You tell me your frustrations, I tell you my frustrations. Like that's just kind of what it is. And I think this was a moment where Sheena was trying to lean on Ariana and just try to get her to understand that like she is struggling, but like I
Yeah.
want you to know my loyalty is to you at the end of the day, you know? And I
Yeah.
don't feel like Ariana was receiving it and
I think
Katie was
that she
egging that
was
on.
I think Ariana was more receptive to that than Katie was.
That's what I think Ariana, she was listening, you know, she wasn't validating. We hear Sheena talk about it later with Lala about how, like, you know, she's like, "Every time I try to bring this up or talk about this, you know, Ariana is very quick to kind of just like, dismiss it or move on from it or not really engage with it or explain to me with all the reasons that I'm wrong about my feelings. And I think Katie validates that side of Ariana. She like, because she doesn't like Sandoval, and let's be honest, Katie doesn't like Sheena either. She's gonna find faults in the people that she doesn't like. Thank you, Jen
Yeah.
Johnson. So I just feel like, you know, you're my fave. Oh, thank you, Carrie. I'm her fave. Damn. Let's get it, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Jen. I think Brock has a producer mindset for filming with Sheena, and I don't think that it's a bad thing, but him recognizing that he needed to reel it in and apologize was nice. I agree. Katie and Ariana were not great in this scene. I agree. Katie with all this hate, Sandoval because her ex-husband picked him over her. Ariana can be conflicted, not Katie. Ariana's allowed to be angry and conflicted and to sit in her emotions because there's still a lot of pain there. I get Ariana's position, right? Katie,
Mhm.
I don't. And I do agree. I think Katie is bitter that Schwartz chose Sandoval over their marriage. And he did.
Yeah, yeah, I think that that's, valid observation.
Katie's very much the definition of confirmation bias. I agree. Katie's just kind of annoying and bitter. I I'm not a big
I
Katie
still
fan.
like her. I'm sorry, I still like Katie. I kinda wanna see Tequila Katie come out at some point, but
I miss Tequila Katie. You know what I did love though? I loved the scene towards the end of the episode where you see Schwartz and he's talking to a really fucked up Brock. They're lit.
Yes,
But I
Liddy
love
City.
Liddy City for sure. I loved how Schwartz was just like, you know what? Despite how my marriage ended, despite what a rocky relationship we had, he's like, despite all of that, what I appreciate about Katie is that she picked me and she loved me when I had nothing.
Yep.
And he's like, and that's a true testament to, you know, what how much she cared for him. And you can tell he felt bad that he couldn't live up to and be the man that Katie deserved. But,
Yeah, yeah,
he acknowledged that, and I appreciated him for that, and I appreciated Katie for that because it's true. It's like when you
yeah,
love someone, you don't look at what they bring to the table if it really is coming from a place of love and not coming from a place of mutual benefit or, I think especially like in LA, you're always looking for either friendships or relationships for, what can I gain from this other person?
yep,
And just
100%.
yeah, and just knowing that, he can acknowledge that and hold that space for her. I
Mhm.
don't know how she feels watching that, but I would just imagine for her, that would be validating despite how their marriage ended, because
Yeah,
she really did pick him because she loved him, and like, you can tell he really felt that. He's like, "I had nothing,
yeah,
and she still
yeah.
chose."
And I gotta be honest with you, Schwartz is probably my favorite person
Yeah.
on the cast. I've said this before. He's like a human golden retriever. He is just
Yeah.
the sweetest guy, and he really just wants everything to be good with everyone. And I know that sometimes people think that that's just I don't know whether it's playing both sides or whatever, but Schwartz just really wants honestly the best for everyone.
Again, and this is why, and here's the unfair standard because we like to call Sheena a flip flopper. Schwartz does the same thing, and we don't consider him to be a flip flopper. We see him as the golden retriever of the group. I think Schwartz and Sheena both allow themselves to let their hearts guide them. We
Yep.
just hold Sheena to a different standard.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wait, Michelle, why do you think you're toxic for loving Schwartz? I don't think that's toxic.
I don't think
How
it's
could you not
toxic.
love a human golden retriever?
He's great. Yes, and he's gross. I think Schwartz is also a put. I don't think so.
Putz, not a
Putz.
putz.
Same shit. Schwartz suffered from drunk goggles, and that's what really ruined their marriage. No,
Oh,
I don't think it was that. I think it was just that he wasn't able to be what Katie needed him to be in their relationship, And I think she tried and she was waiting for him to grow up. And at the end of the day, you know.
um,
Mm.
But no, I agree with that. Schwartz had a couple of
No, that too, but
indiscretion.
I think I agree, but I think those were things Katie was willing to move past. The real issue in the relationship wasn't the fact that he would, like, get drunk and make out with other people. It was more that there were needs that she had in their relationship that he wasn't able to meet.
Like,
Like standing up for her. Like, he
oh,
always picked Sandoval over, and there was the dick thing too.
no comment.
Um, but I didn't love that Sheena and Ariana didn't really. I mean, I agree with Katie in the sense that Sheena was maybe preaching to the wrong audience. But I think Sheena felt like, "Hey, Ariana, we're friends. I've been there for you. I've listened to you. I've rode hard for you. You can be my friend and also hear that I'm struggling with this as well." And I think Lala really, hit the nail on the head later on in the episode where she's like, listen, Sheena's been ride or die for Ariana. And Ariana now needs to realize who her friends are and be there for her friends as well, the same way all of her friends have been there for her.
Yeah, yeah. I know Lala was really great with Sheena this episode.
Lala was just a great voice of reason.
Yeah.
Um, it was interesting though, and I think we see her come to Sandoval, in my opinion, very graciously on the boat and just be
Mhm.
like, "Hey, I think you've had some really great moments with everybody on this trip. You've had some really solid conversations. It feels like, things are moving forward for you." And then she's like, "Okay, let me open up the door to see if I can have this point of connection with him." You know?
Uh-huh.
And it does not go that way because
No.
she wants Sandoval to acknowledge that there was a double standard, that he was being a bit of a hypocrite. And in that moment, realizes that Sandoval's not gonna give her that moment. He's gonna continue to double down on being a hypocrite. And what were your thoughts on his reaction to Lala?
Um, on par. Exactly how I expected him to react.
Not surprising.
100%. No, I was not surprised at all. He just, like, tries to turn himself into this victim, but to consistently bring up Lala's past when, Lala's dealt with her shit, and she's owned all of her shit. Why don't you start owning your shit?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. Did I make a note about that? That's probably all I made.
But so Lala pops off and is like,
I
"You
love it
always
when she
feel my
pops off
you are
too,
the." Okay, why do you love it when Lala pops off, but when I pop off, I don't get that same adoration?
because I wanna slap you in the face when you pop off. I'm
Well, it's
kidding,
usually
y'all. I don't
it's
wanna slap you in
usually
the face.
at you. Usually when I pop off, it's because you do some stupid shit.
Don't pop off at me. I don't care what I do, don't pop off at me.
We always figure it out.
Oh,
Um,
oh, 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 that was it. The fact that, the day that Scandival broke, he had just talked in an interview about how she was
oh, yes.
douchey. She was douchey and didn't take ownership for anything. Meanwhile, the entire time he is having an affair. So it's just the
Hypocrisy.
hypocrisy is so next level with this individual. I can't.
No, it is, and that was her whole point of being like, "Yes, I get it, my past was fucked up. I did what I did. I was sucking a married man's dick for, a Range Rover, whatever," right? She was doing what she was doing, she was making her life happen. Um, but she's like, "But you were judging me. Meanwhile, you were being a cunt, doing the same shit, being slithery and trying to hide your life." And the other thing too is with, um with Sandoval, he was also saying that his relationship with Ariana wasn't what it was portrayed to be on the show. That they were having problems, but on the show, they were pretending that they weren't having problems. So that's another indicator that he wasn't being honest with his life on the show.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's double standards all around. So Lala deserved to pop off on him, but I'm glad that Sheena was able to come in as a voice of reason and kind of be like, okay, guys, let's actually analyze this. Take a beat, you know. Loving that Lent is over. Why is Lent? Is Lent over? Lent's not over yet. When is Easter?
No, Lent isn't over until Easter. When is Easter? I think it's not until next month, right?
When is Easter?
When is Easter Sunday?
Easter is the 31st.
Oh, the 31st. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we
No,
still have
baby. We
time.
still got nearly a month to go for Lent.
Oh, Lent is over for you. Oh, okay. Your Lent. Got it. Got it. Because
Oh,
for Lent, I gave up being a bitch.
yeah.
And
Well,
it just,
that ended the day you said that you were going to do it.
I know, but I'm reborn every day and I fail every day.
Here we fucking go.
What would you rate my bitch scale at on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10 being the biggest bitch?
Are we going overall or like
Yeah,
specific?
overall. Yeah.
I'll give you an 8 because you always need room to grow. But
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it.
what would mine be?
I think you just stay stagnant at like a solid 6.
Stagnant?
You're just always in that constant bitch mode, but then when you get activated, it can pop off. Wow, people are giving me an 8.5.
See, well, there you go.
Oh, look at Rummy says I'm an amazing friend. She would give me a 12. Thank you, Rummy.
Oh God.
Some days you wake up and choose chaos, and that is a-okay. You know, I would say most
He
days.
absolutely does. He will say, "I'm feeling bored. Kind of want to cause some chaos," and I'm like, Zach, what? Chaos with who? Number one, and he said, "Don't you ever just get bored and want to cause some chaos?" I said, "No, I like my peace too much." And he said, "What else did you say?" Um, oh, when did you get so boring and rational or some shit like that? I said, I just don't like to burn bridges. And Zach said, well, when I burn a bridge, I always repair it. And I said, whenever you burn a bridge, no matter how well you repair it, it's never as strong as it once was.
I don't often burn bridges, though.
Okay.
What was the last bridge that I burned?
I don't know, Zach. I'm just kidding.
Exactly, because I don't burn bridges very often.
Uh huh.
Look at okay, fair point. Bravo has brought everyone's bitch out lately. Oh, Michelle makes a good point. He doesn't burn the bridge, he just shakes it a little, you know? I just jerk it off a little bit.
Oh my but y'all just remember those words. If you're thinking about burning a bridge, I don't like burning bridges. But if you think
Wow,
about burning
Josh.
one,
Look at Sharon says that was deep. Little does she know that's how you like it. I think Ariana is doing a stellar job at trying to speak eloquently instead of going straight ham on Sheena. Do you agree or disagree?
I well, I mean, given that it's 4 months post, so thinking that Ariana's still very angry at this point, I can understand that, but also I'm understanding where Sheena's coming from. So,
Yeah. Mallory says you burned a bridge with Andy's ex. Wink, wink. Listen, I did not burn that bridge. He burned that bridge by unfollowing me, Mallory. Okay. And so when I
are
posted
we
photos,
in middle school because he unfollowed you?
that's saying you're dead to me. That's like Sandoval blocking Summer Moon.
Oh
Listen,
my god.
you can mute me, but when you unfollow me,
I
that is
you know
like,
what? Honestly, not everybody knows about the mute option. He probably didn't know about the mute option.
oh, he knew about the mute option. So you know what I did? Because tonight is Bet It All on Blonde with Erica. the Bet It All on Blonde special, and we were at the show opening weekend. And so I had all these wonderful photos that I was posting, reminiscing about that trip. And you know what? Like, this was 1992. I cut him out of those photos, cropped it, and posted them on Instagram without him.
Sorry, I was reading the chat. What did you say?
I said all of the photos from Bet It All on Blonde last summer in Vegas, I cropped him out of them. Like, it was 1992. I just got the scissors and I cut him out of the photos.
Oh,
And now nobody would ever know that he was on that trip with us.
Zach.
I did call Andy afterwards, and I was like, "Are you upset that I cut out your ex-boyfriend?" And he's like, "You do you." And I was like, "That's a good friend."
Are you going to
Validate
take
my
the clippings and put it in your burn book, Regina George?
Yeah.
Okay.
This fugly slut made out with a hot dog.
Actually, with the new movie, you're not supposed to say slut.
God, the new movie was I was a little too. I can be salty when someone unfollows me, so I love to bring it. Exactly, when I did nothing worthy of an unfollow. Thank you, Mallory. See, this is what happens. You don't even see this in the mornings, Josh, when I have coffee in me and I'm fresh, and then they come in here and they go in the live chat, and all they want to do is pump me up. And you know it doesn't take very much to pump me, and they love to just get the little pumper and go, and I just get bigger and bigger and bigger like a blowfish until I pop. And then I pop off on a bitch.
You need to maybe seek counseling.
Listen, I've said this. People think that I need therapy, but people just need to accept that I'm already perfect.
Please go tell that to a therapist.
We just had this conversation the other night where I told you last time I was in therapy, I would spar with a therapist.
See, there you go. Prime example of why you need therapy.
Listen, if a therapist can't handle me, that's their problem.
Sharon Watch says that you're now at a 9.5, almost a 10. That's not really a 10 yet. I've seen this crazy little bitch get to a 10. I think I might have seen her get to 11.
Okay, but you're also the one that pushes the buttons to get me to that point, Joshua.
Sometimes
accountability, Tom Sandoval.
So, listen, I'm taking accountability. Sometimes it's just fun.
He is a therapist. Thank you, Michelle. I love you for who you are. See, remember earlier
actually, you know what? Look, Rummy Kia right there. I'm an amazing therapist. She actually is an amazing therapist. Very intuitive. I suggest talking to her.
Have I not also been a great therapist and very intuitive as well?
Listen,
have I not had my moments?
We all need to work on ourselves a little bit.
Abu says no one can say Zach lacks self-esteem. True.
Hi, Janice.
Who's Janice? Janice Dickens?
It's very clear that her name is Janice Ingram. Hi, honey.
Janice said, okay, back to Vanderpump Rules.
Sorry. Yes, I know. We get so... Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, she did.
Thank you, Wanda. He needs to learn the lesson.
What? Just say yes about what?
Just say yes. Yes. She's saying just agree with me.
Oh, no.
And life will be perfect. If you just agree with me, life will be perfect.
No.
You have to admit, life would be so much simpler if you would just validate me. If you just be like, you know what, Zach, you're always right. And then I'd be like, thank you. And then there would be no reason to fight.
No.
See? Because he's fucking stubborn.
Because you're not always right. Vanderpump Rules. They did not come here to see us fight.
I'm 98% of the time right. And the 2% that I'm not right,
Zach, no one cares. Can you go to this comment, please?
I wonder why the Valley didn't pick back up cameras to see the separation. I believe they have picked back up cameras to film.
I'd be shocked if they didn't.
I don't pop off. I recorded myself doing it just for myself. I was like, wow, I can pop off and didn't know it. Same, girl. Same. I love you guys. Thank you, Sharon.
Love you
She said,
too.
I love Zack. Vanderpump Rules is coming to an end. Yeah, I think we can kind of feel that. But like, it had a really strong run. I ain't mad at
If
it.
it does come to an end, it did have a very strong run.
Yeah.
Do we have any more thoughts on this episode?
And now the Valley. Oh Lord, I know. Let's see what else was left in this. Oh, we just have the final scene, which is Sheena breaking down because she's just like, I'm so tired of it being all about Ariana. It's never about me. I want it to be about me. I validate this. I think,
Mhm.
listen, all of the attention has been on Ariana,
Yeah.
understandably, right? But we've completely negated that Sheena has a reaction to Sandoval too, and Rachel
Yeah.
too. Like Sheena was a part of this too. Sheena was hurt in this too, and her pain and her frustrations aren't validated. And people think that when we give that attention to Sheena, then that means that we're making it all about Sheena. But I don't think that it's. I think that she was hurt. I think that she lost her friend, and I think let her cry. I agree. Let her cry.
Mhm.
Let her live life. Has the Valley started in the US? No, not yet. It doesn't start until what, next week, the week after? The 19th, I believe.
It starts. I thought it was the 8th. No, the 19th, the day that I go home to Louisiana.
The 19th. There we go. March 19th. I'm with Sheena until the Dancing with the Stars got. Listen, that was a lot. Did you see that?
Yes, I know. That part, I was like, "Oh, Sheena, you should have maybe kept that one locked away." It's mm,
Yeah, it wasn't her best. It wasn't her finest moment.
no, it wasn't. Thank you, Rummy. Love you, babe.
Yes, guys. Josh has a YouTube channel that you can follow. Josh from Louisiana. Can you
That's
pimp it out,
it.
Joshua?
What?
Can you pimp it out, Joshua?
Oh, yes.
I'm
So,
giving you your moment to
thank
have
you.
the floor.
I
It's all
appreciate it.
yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach. So, I am currently doing recaps of Southern Charm New Orleans because that's what I got started on and I am seeing it through to the end. But while I'm recapping Southern Charm New Orleans, I also do cooking tutorials. So, if you want to learn how to cook some good Southern food, be sure to tune in on Sundays. And I also recap the season 2 of Feud Capote versus the Swans, which we only have 2 episodes left, but those are released on Tuesdays and I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is that I'm gonna do after I'm done with both of these because I'm almost
The
done with Southern
Valley.
Charm as well. I know, but like, how am I gonna? Well, I mean, I guess I could do the Valley, start it when I'm home in Louisiana, and it would be nice to cook with my sister.
Josh, are you gonna do Southern Hospitality?
It's too late in the season now. Maybe for next season, I'll give uh take a swing at that.
The Texas Phoenix. She followed you way back then, and you never followed her back. Listen,
What? When did I say that?
I don't know. Summer House. I'm not even that thrilled with Summer House this season. I haven't tuned in.
I've no interest in that.
Yeah, love Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality too. I haven't seen Southern Hospitality.
I just
Josh,
follow you back, Texas Phoenix.
when Top Chef comes on, you should recap. Do
Ooh,
you
that would be
watch?
a good
Oh,
one.
Top Chef would be a good one since you cook.
Yeah, that would be a good one. That's a
I
great idea. Thank you.
Do we think Kate will be found out as a traitor tomorrow? No, I don't think so.
No, I think Kate's gonna take it all. I
I think
really
Kate's
think
gonna
Kate's gonna
win.
take it all. Yep.
I do
Cut.
too.
I
They're gonna
mean,
go after Sandra.
yep. Everyone is like hot on her heels, and it's gonna suck for them when Kate walks away with all.
Kate's gonna win. Everyone's gonna be blind. They're all gonna go after Sandra, and if they don't go after Sandra, they'll either go after Trishelle or CT. But I think
Uh,
everyone's going to gun for Sandra because everyone's starting to speculate that Sandra may be a traitor.
yeah, yeah. That conversation already started. So. Hmm. I cannot wait for this one though. I miss Peter so much though.
Aren't you glad that I turned you on to this show?
I am. That was a great suggestion because I don't usually like competition shows like that, but it was just so good.
It's good. This is a good season. Season 2 is better than season 1. I always have great recommendations. Don't know what you would do without me in your life. Even Janice agrees. She said, "I know, right?"
I'll I'll probably sleep a little better at night.
All right. Well, this was fun. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week when we see Lala and Katie pop off because, she's like, "You're doing too much," and and Lala's like, "You do too much all the time," which is true. Well, actually, Katie doesn't do enough. I do too much because you do too little.
Oh, real quick, just Rummy asked if I would do the next Housewives. I actually am considering doing New Jersey because New Jersey is my first love of Bravo.
Mm.
I love Jersey.
I love Jersey too, but this is not going to be a good season. The
Why?
trailer, the trailer was terrible, and from what I've heard, it's going to be a rough season.
Wait, when did the trailer come out?
Today, where the fuck have you
What?
been?
I worked my
Don't get
fucking
excited.
ass
It's
off.
not a good trailer.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be a good season. The trailer, it just was very meh. I would not recommend. I mean, yeah, no, I would not recommend recapping Jersey only because, and I say this out of love, and this is probably a conversation not on air, but for off air. When you have a
So then
show,
why are you having it on air?
because I already started it. When you have to recap a show every week and when you have episodes that are just not interesting, then you have to like force yourself to talk about them. And then it's just like,
Oh, yeah, I don't like
pulling
being
teeth for
bored.
everyone. Yeah. So trust me, you'll see the trailer and you'll be like, oh, this is not going. But that's the only housewife show we're getting this summer. That in Dubai and like Jersey. This is going to be a rough season in Jersey, and Dubai is garbage.
I don't I don't know. I never watched Dubai.
Yeah. All right. Neither have I. I had no interest. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back next week. It'll be all the fun, all the good times. So get ready.
Oh, also everyone, please, 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 please pray that I don't get called into jury duty. If I have any witches,
Jury duty.
shamans,
I
anything
already
like that out there. Huh?
nothing. I'm not going to say it on air.
Oh. I just have to go officiate my niece's wedding, so I can't be in jury duty for that.
Which is what he should just tell the judge, and then
Oh,
he'll be
listen,
dismissed.
I'm bringing all of my shit. I'm bringing my minister license. I'm bringing the invitation, my plane ticket, all that stuff. I just
It's
don't want
so
to get a
easy to
douchey
get out of
judge.
jury duty. It's so easy. I've always wanted to do jury duty. It's so easy to get out of it, though.
Okay. Well, if I wish
And you have
that,
like a legit reason to get out of it.
yeah, but I wish that there was a way that you could nominate a tribute so I could just be like, hey, I don't want to do it, but my friend Zach does.
No, I don't wanna do it anymore. Back when I wasn't self-employed and I would
Oh,
get paid and, like, all of that stuff, it was different, you
uh-huh.
know? Not anymore. Alright, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back next week. Have a great weekend, and yeah, enjoy. We have the Beverly Hills reunion tonight. We have Bet It All on Blonde tonight, both of which look like they're gonna be good. So well,
All
actually, I've
right.
seen Bet It All on Blonde, and it is good.
All right, guys. Love you all. Thanks, Zach, for having me virtually tonight.
Well, you do what you gotta do.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.